folks? Welcome back to the channel, your home for all content Lord of the Rings home. Today, I want to spend this video talking about what I'm doing with my free-to-play account, how I'm pivoting, what I'm going to do after the news of goblins being the unlock for Thorin. Because I like a number of people thought it was dwarves. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20 there. That's not correct. It is goblins. So first, let's take a look at my goblins and see where they're at. Definitely not going to be getting them anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, Chef and Orphers are hard node farms, right? And like, this is bad. This is really, really not great. I need time to farm them for sure. Golbers, not so bad because I've kind of been passively farming him anyway. But Great Goblin, so he's in the arena store. Obviously, premium gem character, only hard node farm, guild farm. So I'll worry about Grimpa sort of last. Let's take a look at my dwarves. Specifically, I want to focus on Thorin's company, the team you would end up using with Thorin, right? All the way at the bottom here. So Bifur, I have been farming. He's in the guild store. And then Feely and Keely, I have been farming as well. I stopped farming Feely actually a little while ago, and I basically just let the daily objectives take care of that. Keely, though, I have been hard node farming. So let's kind of just take a second to go through what my sort of plans are overall. Basically, it's to finish my current farms and teams. And those are the ones that I'm focusing on the most are my Rivendell Elves and my Rohan 3, and then some plug and play sort of stuff as, kind of underneath that. So in terms of like things I need to finish, I have a skill. Yeah, I gotta finish off Elrahir there. He needs one more skill. I'm okay with Eldon and Lord Elrond. They seem pretty in a good spot. And then I gotta start working on Arwen. Obviously, purple bottles are such a massive bottleneck for everybody, free to play and people who spend money. That this is gonna slow me down. But I'm gonna finish off getting their skills up. Obviously, I want to finish getting Arwen and Eladin to 7 stars as well. And then I'll work on getting Naramiri to 7 stars, just so that when Elrond comes back around, I can get him up to 7 stars. So, I can't say for sure that Elrond's event is going to rerun before a Thorin event would come back as well. That's what my instinct would tell me, but, I guess that's off sometimes. So, I'm still going to do that, though, because I have a lot of resources invested in this team, and I want to make sure I finish Elrond off. Same with Rohan, just making sure I can farm up Eowyn, farm up Eothane. Aim I already have maxed. And then the last elf I'm going to take to 7 stars is going to likely be, where is he? Legolas here. So he's almost at 6 stars now, and then I'll finish him off to 7 stars as well. So that's kind of my plan. Finish my farms. And I'm going to talk more about that generally, that strategy, and when I think it's okay to abandon it, maybe. So guild store, if you are farming Wubate and you are working on Haradrim, I think it's probably okay to finish farming up Wubate, get him to 7 stars, and then maybe you can start working on Bifur. You may be wondering like why you would get Bifur, especially because they have 2 Thorin's company members that are coming out, and that makes 6 total, so somebody's going to get dropped, right? Feely, Keely, Bomber, Bilbo, Thorin, and Bifur. Think Bifur is still probably worth getting up overall, but as someone, if you have an account that you either a light spender or you're not a spender, you're free to play, right? I just wouldn't worry about the 3 essentially marquees that are coming along. I don't know if the Warg is going to be a marquee. I don't know what else it could be, but just don't worry about that because those will be farmable so much later. Just work with what we have in the game and what we know now, and then you can kind of set yourself up for success in that way. Bifur is also great. If he's the one you end up dropping from, your Thorin's company team, once Bilbo and Bomber become farmable, that's okay. He works great under Balin, and I can just recommend to you now that as soon as Balin gets moved to someplace farmable, you should farm Balin. He's great. He's really good in the raids. He's a great plug and play character. Even at low stars, he's so much viability, right? Same with Rumel. Bifur is a great add-in to that team. So don't worry about, wasting investment on Bifur as well. And then that kind of leads me into something I want to address. People are, I think rightfully, maybe not rightfully, but they're concerned that, like, why would I even spend all this time getting up goblins and getting up Thorin's company to get a legendary that's going to be coming back, maybe 6 months from now. There'll just be a new legendary. There'll just be other characters that have sort of phased him out. And to that, I would say, well, if there's a new legendary that like completely makes Thorin, I don't know, not useful or inept, that's probably going to be paywalled too. That's the unfortunate reality of these games, is that, they've conditioned the player base to basically say, you should not expect, as a free-to-play player or light spender, or even a medium spender, to be honest, to get the legendary on the first pass. So that's just the way it is. But that means you won't be getting that new legendary, and that's okay. 2, Thorin's kit is interesting in a unique way because it's really, really good against DPS checks. And that's important in both like an arena or PvP setting and in just a raid setting in general, just a PvE content setting, specifically raids though, I think. Because anytime a raid, like you've got a big baddie that requires some sort of DPS check, Thorin's going to be able to do well there. Just his unique boon. Oh, we got somebody coming in. Thanks for the sub. We get a unique boon here that's basically going to just ramp up so much damage that he might even have a lot of viability at lower stars, lower investment tiers as well. Obviously, that's something to be seen. We will test that out. But I still think he is a little bit future-proof in that regard, right? You are always going to need a team that is going to have great offensive capabilities that can bust through raid bosses and that can bust out hard defensive teams in something like multi-squad PvP, right? You're just going to be able to knock down any sort of timeout team that you want with Thorin. So there's a little bit of future-proofing there. I don't think you should worry too much about him being phased out and completely not useful 6 months from now or whenever they run the event again. So that was a little side tangent there. We'll move on. Arena store, again, if you're working on Aemir, finish Aemir. If you're working on Legolas, finish Legolas. So what I typically will do is I'll get Legolas, and then if there's character XP, I will get character XP, and then if I have some extra, I don't today, I will also throw some into Golbers. This is a fine farm. This is faster than hard nodes, right? So this is something you can sort of still do on the, down low, I would say, in the background. In terms of hard node farming, there are 3 characters that I think are worth hard node farming. The 2 goblins, let me bring them back up here. Where are we? There we go. Chef and Orphers, they're both hard node farms. They're 80 energy, so that's 160 energy there. And then in terms of the dwarves, I think it's probably worth farming Keely here. I would stop farming Feely, especially if you've got him 4 stars, 5 stars. Just let the daily objectives sort of take you to 7 stars. I think that's totally fine. And then you can hard node shard farm Keely, and then that puts you at 240 energy because all 3 are 80 energy farms. So you get about 510, it's 509 energy in a day without refreshes. Obviously, it's what? 120, 360 on top of that, so about 869 energy if you do 350 normal energy refreshes a day. If you can put 240 of that into sort of passively farming both these dwarves and the goblins, I think you will put yourself in a great position the next time Thorin comes back around. That is what I plan on doing with my free-to-play account. Now, I did mention I was going to talk a little bit about when you should finish your farms and when you shouldn't finish your farms. The nice thing about at least how I think I'm approaching this particular problem is that if I need to, let's say Glyph comes out and I really need all of that extra 240 energy for a number of weeks, I can stop this farm for, I think, a few weeks and then be okay to resume it a few weeks after. And I would do that for something like Glyphs. Let's say there's immediate gains to be had by taking that energy, getting Glyphs farmed for my raid teams, and then I see immediate, benefits in my raid scores. That gets me more resources now, which will benefit me much more later in the game. I think it's okay to do that for a few weeks. Take a week off, take 2 weeks off, pivot to something else, something more urgent, and then you can kind of come back, start to passively farm it back up again. And if you start now, then you will be less panicked if it comes back around sooner rather than later, right? I think a hard node shard farm is what? It's like 200 and something days to get 810 shards or to go from 0 to 7 stars. So there's obviously other ways to be getting shards here, free chests, all that sort of stuff. But you don't want to be caught, slipping. And 5 stars is the minimum. So that's just a few of that's kind of how I'm going to pivot on my free-to-play account. Let me know if you guys have a similar plan, if you see a big flaw in my plan so that I can sort of correct it. Basically, finishing up my farms on teams that I've invested a lot of resources in, passively farming some of the goblins and Thorin's Company dwarves, and then, giving myself the option to pivot if I need to, especially for something like glyphs, which we expect to be coming soon as well. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.